Today, Israel's Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich declared that it is time for Israel to officially annex territory that does not belong to them, the West Bank, now that Donald Trump has been elected as the 47th president of the United States. Here's what he said verbatim, quote, "Trump's victory brings an important opportunity for the state of Israel." During Trump's first term, he said, "We were on the verge of applying sovereignty over the settlements in the West Bank, and now the time has come to make it a reality." And then he continues, "I have no doubt that President Trump, who showed courage and determination in his decisions in the first term, will support the state of Israel in this move." Now, with Donald Trump, everything is transactional. And one of the transactions that certainly spoke volumes for Trump during the election process was the nearly $100 million donation he received from Miriam Adelson, as long as he agreed to allow Israel to annex the West Bank. So that's the reason why you have, far-right leaders in Israel giving us the impression that Trump has given them the green light to do this annexation. Now, to be 1,000,000% fair here, the annexation had already begun under Biden, and Biden did nothing about it. So my biggest issue with our government as it pertains to this story and to any issue involving Israel is that the American voters don't get an opportunity to choose between one or the other because they're both the same. Both parties enable anything and everything Israel wants to do. And so while I am certainly going to be deeply angry and critical over Trump enabling what Israel wants to do here and essentially stealing more land from the Palestinians, I also want to be clear that Biden was no better.
So slight disagreement there.
Okay, where?
So Biden seemed to be maximum terrible on this issue. As a thank you gift for the genocide, gave them $26 billion to do more. But Netanyahu, Smotrich, and the other guys in the Israeli cabinet were under the impression that he would not allow them to fully annex the West Bank. And so, you say he wouldn't have, except they think that he wouldn't have, right? So, whereas Trump is saying, I'll do everything Biden did, but on top of that, I'll let you annex the West Bank. And guys, we're gonna talk about Elise Stefanik in a second, they're gonna be the UN ambassador. Green light for any war crimes. So that's Trump, just as I told you, has taken Biden's horrific policy and magically found a way to make it worse. So this is definitively, in my opinion, well, it's not my opinion, it is definitively worse. If he allows them, he hasn't done it yet, but if he allows them to annex the West Bank, all the claims of anti-war president flush down the toilet. There isn't any force on earth that's gonna allow the Palestinians or anyone else to go, oh yeah, why don't you just take it all? There's 3 million Palestinians there. Why don't you just treat them as your slaves and just take all their land and run a fascist government that ethnically cleanses them? No, the Muslim world is not going to accept that. The Arab world is not going to accept that. And that would be Donald Trump starting a giant war. And if he does that and he goes, oh, those dirty Muslims attacked for no reason. Poor Israel had a right to steal their land. defend themselves. Yeah, you're going to have one of the biggest wars you've ever seen in the Middle East. And it's going to be 100%. No, to be fair to Anna's right, not 100% Donald Trump's fault, 100% of both parties' fault.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, that is what I'm trying to say. I am not at all serving as an apologist for what Trump is very likely going to do in enabling Israel. I have no doubt that he will. I have no doubt it will be disgusting and awful in every way. What I do have a problem with, though, is doing this comparative analysis that I think is unfair because Biden has not pumped the brakes at all. At all. If Netanyahu said, hey, listen, the pro-Israel lobby just bribed you so I can literally spank you publicly on national television. So go ahead and bend over, let me spank you. Biden would be, oh yes, sir. Yes, may I have another, sir? That's Biden, Cenk.
It is, so
pathetic.
Let me give an analogy and see if we get agreement on this. So if you watch mainstream media, they'll tell you that Biden's driving 55 miles an hour. He's doing it perfectly. balancing the Israeli interest because they're our special beloved ally who deserves a blank check and can commit any war crimes they like while they're defending themselves. But at the same time, my God, his heart goes out to the Palestinians, and what a wonderful guy. I mean, he doesn't do anything for them, and he allows and finances their slaughter, but he cares. He cares about the Palestinians. So they say he's driving 55, and I think you and I agree he's actually driving, pick a number, 100, 120 miles per hour in Israel's direction, okay?
Sure.
So what Trump is saying is, I'm gonna come in and I'm going to be a maniac and I'm gonna drive 200 miles an hour in Israel and war's direction.
Yeah,
right?
There's no indication that Trump would do otherwise. There's potentially two things that could persuade Trump to pump the brakes. I would not bet money on it, but I do want to at least bring it up. For one, Donald Trump has been having conversations with Benjamin Netanyahu. He's had 3 conversations with Netanyahu recently. He's also having conversations with Mohammed bin Salman, who of course is the Saudi prince, who is not in favor of what Israel has been doing in Gaza. In fact, he made clear that the Abraham Accords, which was that business deal that was implemented under Donald Trump's first term, will go nowhere unless the slaughter in Gaza stops. And Donald Trump really cares about the Abraham Accords. That's like one of the things he loves to tout as an accomplishment from his first term. So I'm curious to see, he's being pulled in 2 different directions to some extent, and there could be a possibility where MBS has some influence over him, but I would not bet money on it. That's where I personally am on that issue. The other thing is, the America First crowd, which certainly does not want to get involved in another war. And I was curious, all right, we're already starting to see some signs that Donald Trump is gonna go along with what Biden was willing to go along with. So what's America First saying about this? And one of the people who endorsed Donald Trump close to the election was Dave Smith. I don't know if he considers himself America First, but he's certainly a libertarian who does not want to get involved in wars. And he's already starting to criticize Trump over this. So I'm curious if, look, the difference between Biden and Trump is Biden never gave a damn about his voters or his base. That was clear. Trump has an obsession with being admired, and he seems to care about his base more, so they might have more influence on him when it comes to foreign policy. But again, I want to be real with you all and just be clear that I wouldn't necessarily bet money on it because the Israel lobby is very powerful and his relationship with Netanyahu seems to have gotten closer.
Okay, so I was going to say things along similar lines. I'm going to tell you 2 people that I think can stop it, very similar to yours. But first, I want to explain to folks why Trump's going in this direction. Money. Miriam Adelson, the latest numbers, we thought she was going to give about 90, and it might be more than this. But the number I read today was that she gave Trump's PACs $137 million.
Oh my God.
Okay, and we reported for you guys because Haaretz reported in Israel that Miriam Adelson had one giant ask from Donald Trump. Remember what that was? Annexing the West Bank. So right after Trump is elected, Smotrich goes, great, Trump's in, we're gonna annex the West Bank. If you think it's a coincidence that he got $137 million and right after he got elected, Israeli right wing says we're doing exactly the thing you reported on earlier, okay, well then you're a sucker and I can't help you, okay? So money is the #1 reason why. Now, to my agreement with Anna, there's 2 people that can stop it, Mohammed bin Salman and Joe Rogan, okay? So Mohammed bin Salman could say, I'll bribe the Israelis, okay? So she gave you 137, I'll give you 1.3 billion, okay? But don't let him do that because then my people will demand I go to war and that'll get me toppled and killed and I don't want it. I like being a dictator here, I got it nice and easy and comfortable. The only thing that could ruin it for us is if Israel goes to slaughter more Palestinians and steal more Arab land, because then we'll have no choice because the entire Middle East will be the largest powder keg you've ever seen in your entire lifetime, right? So, and how could they bribe Trump? Super easy, just like they did last time. They gave Jared Kushner $2 billion to manage, of which he gets 2% every year automatically, 20% of the profits that he makes. That's the hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes. By the way, they could just go, you know what? We got a great idea. We're starting another $2 billion investment fund, and we think Don Jr. should run it. Okay, we think Barron should run it. It doesn't matter. It's super easy to get him the money. So that is one possibility because Trump has said, I'm for sale. It's an open auction, right? So, okay, the other possibility is exactly what Anna's saying. The Rogans of the world, the bro podcasters, etc., go, no, we're not religious zealots. We're not the old evangelical Christians who go, oh, Israel has to kill all the Muslims so that Jesus can come back and murder even more people. They're not in that camp. That camp exists, but the Rogans of the world think that they're a little loony, okay? And they are. So now, what do they think? They think, I don't want to give any more money to anything. Right, and I wish they cared more about the Palestinians, and I think some of them probably do.
To be fair about Rogan's actually been very good on the topic of Israel and their treatment of Palestinians.
Yeah, I think Theo Von actually went too far on Rogan's podcast on that issue the other day, but because he made it about Jewish people instead about Israel. Don't ever make it about Jewish people, okay? It's about the government of Israel. Governments do bad things, but it's okay. Look, guys, as I correct that, still we're on the same. I think we're on a similar trajectory. So if the bros, etc., right, that new branch of MAGA goes, oh, you guys are killing Muslims? Oh, the left was right about us. We just hate everyone and we hate Muslims and we're bigots. They have Israel slaughter them with our money, right? If that's who they turn out to be, well, okay, then we're screwed, right? Because it turns out they were giant liars and hypocrites and the exact hateful people that the liberals said they were, right? But if they're in any way earnest and they go, no, I don't want to spend any more money killing those poor people or enslaving them or occupying them or starting this giant war in the Middle East, that has some percentage chance of stopping Trump. But currently they are not on that trajectory. They're on the trajectory that his donors paid for, which is crush the Palestinians, giant green light to Israel to do any expansion, any war crime. You paid for the war crimes, and for now, Trump's saying you're getting the war crimes and we'll pay you to do it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.